Seriously, stream? Seriously? We've hardly been on. The computer, it's not like the computer is even overloading, right? It's like the computer hasn't even overheated. Like the computer is just turned on. It's all cool. All right, I'm almost like terrified to mix up paint at this point. Yeah, I won't be able to get a new computer till the weekend for sure, guys, because I can't, like, I just have no time to set up a new one. Hey, Crows, we're having some problems with Streamus Interruptus. But we're going to soldier forward. And, you know, Quindy, I could try to just reboot, but if you think it's worth it to try to, like, I mean, if it's my network card, I don't know how that helps or hurts. We just don't know what it is. Yes, it's true, Cornico. It's true. I'm sorry. You should have left it unspecified. The spider arachnidus unspecificationness something. I don't know. My thing this morning seems to be making up like fake Latin words. You know, like Games Workshop. Okay, so if we drop it again, I'm gonna try a reboot, guys. See if it helps. Meanwhile, I'm going to mix up my colors. I'm going to get my ancient oak mixed up because I want to really put some shadows underneath each leaf instead of just having lining around the leaf. I think I'm going to skip wilderness, actually. I'm going to go to cat's eye. No, large hammer would not help. I think what D. Clearman suggested about my network cards feels like it might be correct, but David also sent me a text. What am I supposed to... Hey, are any of you data nerds? Hold on. Off-lease business PC and laptop market. What is an off-lease PC or laptop? 1 second. Like, apparently there's a market for this that lets you get a decent computer. So it's refurbished stuff, huh? Maybe I need to do that. That's true. Yeah, okay. So they refurbish it and put it out again. Yeah, so apparently this is the way to get a new computer, if you are smart. Like all of I have a couple of cybersecurity friends, and they're like, why pay full price? Most of the time you don't need a super high-end, cutting-edge computer unless you're doing huge data processing. And most of the time you don't need that. All I need is a computer to run this stream off of. So for me, that sounds like a really good deal. I just need it to have 4 USB ports and I'm good. So maybe I will look around on that and see. Because I was always, you guys knew I was keeping an eye on this computer anyway as far as needing to replace it. And a while ago I thought maybe I would need to, but then I didn't. And of course, you know, just like with my cars, I'm going to drive it till it's dead. Because there's no, you know, otherwise it's just a waste of Earth's resources to just buy a new one off the bat. But I am annoyed at this, and if it's not Twitch and it's me, I want to fix it. So, hey Richard. Yeah, see, and so that's what my cybersecurity people are telling me. Is that they're like, don't ever, like, we never buy new computers. Not ever. Like, don't pay for it, don't bother. Use one of the... Because if you don't buy the refurbished ones, they end up going in the landfill. It's like... It's a win. It's like rescuing a computer, guys. It's like computer rescue. So I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, Pendrake. Right, exactly. We figured that out. What I wanted was to figure out how to get one, but I think my phone has told me that now. So now I'm excited. Now I can go shopping and see how cheaply I can get a nice computer that can replace this laptop. That is the target. That's the target, people. And then we'll have a new. And then if we die, it's all freaking Twitch. So I'm starting out with my colors here. I'm actually going to add a little bit of my cat's eye green to that. I did decide to go with the wilderness just in case I need to do touch-ups on my darker green. I'm going to pop one drop of water into each of these. Oh, the adorable kittens. Is that what we rated? That's awesome. I approve of this. I didn't notice what we rated. Oh, right, because it would have gone after Miniatures Den, so that's why I wouldn't have seen it. So, okay, we get our... And I'm actually going to put another drop of water into the ancient oak because I don't need it for lining so much as I need it for shading. I don't think it's all freaking Twitch Pendrake because this is an older computer. And it was already having some blip issues. It already gave me some blue screens of death over the past year. The little blips were blipping up on it. Let's just put it that way. I know it is not optimal, but at the same time, I refuse to blow $1,000 on a new computer until I absolutely need it. Just on principle. It's just the way I run. Because they're expensive. But the idea of getting a refurbished one that doesn't have a home anymore, that actually appeals to me quite a bit. Rescuing a computer appeals to me. So I'll do it, guys, and then I'll tell you what my experience was like, and you can maybe get a computer cheaper next time too if it worked. I'm just kind of doing some mixes back and forth here, just to kind of bring the colors all into line with each other a little bit more. And a little bit more in that. There we go. Okay. So now we've got a really nice progression. This one's maybe only a little bit up from that, but this one, like I said, I only just want it to correct my shadows and add a little bit more depth, so it's not a big deal. Good. Just no, the same computer problems, Agent Marvel, but a cybersecurity person told me that I should try the off-market, the off-lease PC market. Essentially get a refurbished system, which sounds really good. Like rescuing a computer sounds really good to me. I'm going to call it computer rescue from now on. It's no longer refurbishing. It is computer rescue, and I'm sticking to it. Even if I have to like put little cat ears and doggy tails on all of the computers on my monitor. But yeah, so it's computer rescue. So I'm going to check out the computer rescue site I found that's highly rated and see what I can do, because at this point I know this system is old and getting long in the tooth, and so this is kind of like the gods telling me that, hey, you should probably replace that thing before it dies entirely and you have a week of no streams. So I'm listening to the gods right now. They're kind of like giving me that look, you know what I mean? So now what we're going to start doing too is we're going to start putting in the stem of our leaves. We're going to start putting in that big vein that runs through the middle. And I might need to thicken that up a little bit. A little bit. Ah, no, wrong. Grr. Yeah, I wish I could have coffee, Crowley. So guys, I got through, I am only 7 chapters from the end of my read-through edit of my book. Like, I busted butt yesterday. I got so many chapters read through. I think I did a dozen. And, so that's awesome, because it means that probably at the beginning of the afternoon, I'll be able to finish my read-through. And then I'll be able to spend the rest of the afternoon actually making the edits. So I'll be able to get a head start on that. It takes a while. Like, it took me, last time I did this, it took me about an hour and a half to get through, the first half of the book. So it's going to take me at least probably 2 hours to do the next set, since there is a little bit I need to add to one scene. Richard. The additional scene is the add-on to the scene is all your fault, because I have to suggest, because you're right about the spear. So now we're gonna add just enough to kind of give the reader some reward for that, but I'm still keeping like its final destination in a future book, because that was my plan all along. That's probably why I missed it, honestly, is because sometimes when you're writing a story and you've got all the threads in this book that you know you want to wrap up, but I want to write more books set in this world, and some of the things in book 1 and 2 don't get completely resolved because they're meant to be resolved in book 3 or 4 or 6. And so no, Richard is to blame, but Richard like has provided an invaluable service for me, so we can't blame him too hard. We must also thank Richard, and hopefully the thanks end up slightly bigger than the blame. Full factory reset. And I can do that. And I can do that myself, Shadow Raven. Let me write that down. Hold on. I'll write this down. Must take chat's advice. David probably knows how to do that too. With refurbished. Haven't had any problems, but it's better safe. Okay, that's cool. I can look up, as long as it's something I can do myself, and that I don't need to buy extra software or extra whatever for it. Because I really don't need to go more in the hole. Like, this month feels like I've just hemorrhaged money. You know, that bad feeling, that kind of bad feeling you get when you've hemorrhaged money, and you know you have, but you didn't have a choice, but it doesn't make it any better. You know that? I know that feeling. Okay, good. Thanks, Shadow Raven. Okay, so now I've got a little bit more strength in my ancient oak. I could use liner for this too, but I don't want it to be too strong. I just want to be able to do, yeah, like that. Okay, let's get closer. I don't want to get too close because I get out of frame really easily. So just like that, that little stemmy thing that I just did. That's about where I want it. My salmon color for highlighting, I honestly would probably take it I would probably add like a yellowish white and take it more toward the orange side. Bryce, you could also see if red neon glow, if you've got it. That red neon might not be light enough though. Like, and it's a little bit pinker. So I kind of feel like I would add like Osirian sand, or maybe yellow mold, something, a very, very heavy, you know, white and yellow load. That's what I would do. And I would shade it with something like fire red if you wanted that bright color to still hit the saturation. But I tend to go lighter, warmer. That's my default, so not everybody would give you that answer. Right, leaf stem. Need more leaf stems. We are lacking. Part of why our leaves don't look like leaves is they do not have that central thingy that I forget the actual name of, but I'm calling it a leaf stem, even though it's not one. And we could also not make them completely straight because leaves are curved. So I'm putting in my little stem things, and then I'm going to go out from there and highlight. Yeah, I mean, we're blowing a lot of money on this ReaperCon trip, and I'm just like kind of wincing, you know, a little. But yeah, the book is on track still for the 24th release date. 24th. right, so just getting that, and that helps. Just that little bit of introduction of details helps them look more like leaves. Yeah, it desaturates instantly, Bryce, because it doesn't have any, like, if it's got any white in it, it's like an infinitesimal fingernail full of white. Like, and when you've got that, you'll notice it with a lot of colors, and those are also weak pigments, right? The reds and oranges and yellows tend to be, like, pretty, they don't have a lot of diffusion, right? They're pretty weak. A lot of other colors impact them quickly. And so white is no exception, and when you've got a color like that that has so little white in it, when you add any substantial amount, then you're going to desaturate. So what you might want to do is actually what I would do and do with these kind of colors, underpaint your highlights in white and then glaze the salmon over the top. You're going to still get the highlight, and it's going to keep the saturation higher. It's what I had to do with Soldier 76's jacket when I painted it, because I wanted that red leather, but every time I tried to work with the red, it just desaturated instantly and went straight to pink. But I realized and found out that if I just underpainted my highlights and then I popped the red glaze over the top, I kept the saturation and it didn't go pink. So do that with the salmon. That's my advice. Also, you said like CrossFit at ReaperCon is like 7 a.m., didn't you? I don't know how we're going to work that. I might have to do my CrossFit later in the day. Normally I do it in the like in the evening. My class is at 7. But I just, with the dog, it's just having the dog with us. If we didn't have Kiki with us, I could actually haul my butt out of bed and do CrossFit at 7. But with Kiki, the minute we get up, we have to get her walk. We have to, feed her. She throws and I can't just leave David to it, right? Like, because he's going to stay up later than I am at this con. So it's going to be a little bit persnickety in the mornings. Oh, plantain fire. Yeah, that's nice. And I'm going to lose a little bit of some of my, like, little bits of shadow, like, or the orange there. I kind of had to put the line through the middle of it, but that's all right. I'll come back and deal with it. I'm going to keep to the ancient oak, even down here in the reds and oranges and yellows, because I did use it as a shadow throughout. So I'm going to continue doing my little stemlets that way. I mean, just a little bit later would give us the time to get the puppa, like, figured out. Although I just... Yeah, because, like, I don't want everybody to have to change for me is the thing. Because I need to also, on Saturday, or Friday and Saturday, I have to take her over to my ex's in the morning to drop her off for her time away, her camp we don't want you to stay, as he calls it. So that I can have a brain all to myself without worrying about the puppa on Friday and Saturday. So I don't know. I was thinking I might just need to do my own like little routine in the evenings, but I'll try if I can. But 7 is early for me, especially with my gut stuff. Getting up too early does actually disrupt me. So I had to seriously think about it and go, I don't know if I'll be able to do that. But I know that everybody else is gonna want to like probably do it and then like have breakfast in plenty of time. And if you're doing like a 45-minute or an hour workout, then you want to start early, so I get it. So I don't mind if I have to like make my own. I actually wrote down my entire my coach's entire warm-up routine so that I made sure that I would have it so I could do it, because I don't have it all memorized yet. So I could at least do the warm up and then do some weights, and I would probably be pretty good at the con. But yeah, I think that the 7 a.m. is just, I think it's just going to be unworkable just for me. I can't even think that 8 would work. Maybe if I'm the one who has to get up and take the puppy for the walk every morning, but I had already warned David that was his job. And he's like, oh, he's already given me pushback. And I don't blame him. Like, bringing the dog to the con, it adds a whole nother level of complexity, and it's less like a vacation. So I don't really blame David for whining. I kind of am whining myself a little bit, but we decided to do it, and so that's the way it is. Next year we'll get a dog sitter. All right, we got our stems in. Yeah, I mean, if I didn't have a puppy, I would haul myself out of bed and just go do the workout because you're going to want to shower afterwards anyway. Then I would come back up, have my protein shake, have a shower, relax a bit, and then go down for some eggs or something. But with the puppy, it throws that whole additional, the puppy needs out, the puppy needs a walker, she's going to be a dingo, the puppy needs, and we need to walk her pretty early anyway because it's going to be so hot. Yeah, exactly. And Reaper's 7 a.m. is my 5 a.m., so yay. Although Bryce is also from West. So it's not like he doesn't know. And I'm not gonna be getting there with many days in advance either. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe we just need 2 classes, Bryce. Maybe we just need the morning crowd and the evening crowd. Because I'm sure there are people out there who are not more morning birds who might want to do it. So maybe I'll just do the post-supper CrossFit, and whoever wants to join me can join me. I'll have to I have a book that has some workouts of the day, so I'll have to look at them and see what I can do. Thank you, SJ. Yeah, I'm starting to put more details in, the little stems down the middle of the leaves. I'm going to be putting in a little bit more detail on each leaf now. Yeah, go ahead and ask Bryce, because if we do 2 groups, then that's fine. 2 workout groups at a con? What's going on? This is a game convention. What are you doing bringing your workout stuff into this? So funny, so funny. Yeah, so we will, I'm going to continue on. I've got my stems in, so now it's highlight time. So now I am going to mix up an even lighter color. And I may want to do some underpainting, just like I told Bryce, because if you look at these greens, the thing is they're quite transparent. You can see through the mix, even the wilderness is. And so what may be the best option is to do the white underpainting. So I'll mix up some white. I'll put some yellow mold in it so it's not pure white. Yeah, exactly. See, and I have never worked out at the con, although I used to walk a lot. But yeah, I mean, I have to do my yoga every morning now. That's mandatory. There is no... I sometimes do a faster version, a cut down version when I'm on the road, but I try to do every exercise, even if I don't do it for as long. Because otherwise, just like you say, Bryce, I feel like my back just is unhappy. Although now, having built core strength through, 14 CrossFit classes, I definitely feel a difference. But yeah, sitting all day is no longer the awesome. So pom-poms for Twisted Omaha. Yes, exactly, Korniko. Wretched and mangled. Yes. I don't know. It's even heated, it's still cooler than the air. What can I say? Probably it's heated because the AC indoors is ridiculous. But if it's an outdoor pool and heated, then it's why? Then it might not actually be heated. It might actually just be the weather. But yeah, I definitely, and I would love to keep up with my CrossFit because what I really don't want to happen is to go back to class and have to kind of re-experience all the extreme soreness that I got the first time. Because I'll tell you guys, the first CrossFit workout, oh my gosh, so couldn't move without hurt. But once I got through that first day, like the first week, because it took a while for the soreness to wear off, now I get just a little bit of soreness after a workout. I deadlifted 60 pounds, Bryce, this past one. And with my back, that's an impressive feat. Although it's so funny, guys. This is the weird thing I've learned about weightlifting, is that when you're lifting big weights, the one thing you're not using is your back. Like you're using your leg and hip and butt muscles. If you're engaging your back, you're doing it wrong. This is what I never understood about lifting. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I always bring a flannel, Agent Marvel, at the con. Because Texas takes its AC seriously, like... That's Texas AC. I mean, well, okay, it's Dallas area AC. Twistedoma in my experience. But yeah, the AC was definitely working overtime, you're right. Like, every year it is. I always bring a flannel or something. Alright, so let us... Yeah, learning to lift right. Yeah, right. I'm not young, and I was in okay shape, but my fitness level I still graded as like a 3, which I think actually was realistic. My fitness level at a 3 was realistic. All right, so let's see if this underpainting is going to be good enough. I want to bring out a little bit of this. And then I'm going to go in. I want the top to be lighter, so. £60. My goal is being able to comfortably and repeatedly lift 80. And the reason for that is that if I have to lift Kiki, if there's something happens and there's an emergency, she's 73, 75 pounds. So I need to be able to, for me to feel good, I need to be able to comfortably lift Kiki. And I experienced this. This is kind of what put the seed in my mind that eventually grew into me wanting to engage in some weight training again. But with Kiri, there was an incident where she just couldn't climb the stairs one day. I think I've mentioned this before. Up to our apartment when I first moved here. And I had forgotten my phone, so I couldn't even call David to come down and help. And it was just me with my bad back, which had been very bad, actually, up to that point, and Kiri. And somehow the adrenaline kicked in, and I was able to deadlift Kiri and get her up the stairs. But I was terrified that entire way that my back was going to go out, and I was just going to collapse, and my dog was going to get hurt, and I was hurt. So I don't want to ever be in that situation again with a big dog. You need to be able to carry if you have to, in my opinion. If you don't have, so there's gonna be an incident sometime when you don't have help. So that's what that taught me. So I'm putting a glaze of the cat's eye green a little bit over the leaves. Yeah, it was a bad experience. Yeah, that's good, Twistedoma. That's flexibility. Flexibility is important, as we get older, especially. If you lose it, it's so hard to get back. I was never very flexible, so I'm having to just work on, like, getting back to, like, a normal level. But yeah, it was a really bad experience, and so now that's why my deadlift goal is Kiki. When I can do 80, when I can lift 80, like all around, I'll feel pretty good. But yeah, it is hard to learn to lift right, Bryce. You're right. Because it's so weird. It feels so odd at first, what they're teaching you. But then when you do it right and you have just no pressure on your back at all, it's just like, oh. Yeah, sadly, David did have a second floor apartment when we first. That's why when we were looking at houses, one of the houses we were looking at was 2-story. And he was like, are you certain? Because as our dog gets older, and I'm like, you are right. You are a smart man. This is why at the time, I'm going to marry you. David's good at thinking of that stuff. All right, so pretty much I'm doing actually a glaze with Wilderness, which is a little bit stronger, a little bit darker. when you glaze a light color over a near white, you often won't see much color at all. So going with a more intense and a little bit darker mid-range color sometimes is a little bit more good. Better. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. More good. Oh, you strained it? Oh, no. Yeah. Right, because you recover faster, right? Yeah, mine gets twingy every once in a while, but... And it aches after CrossFit, but it doesn't ache any worse than when I was doing physical therapy for it. So that's kind of my calibration, because otherwise I have a lot of fear about my back. Like, I've put it out twice and it's never pleasant. Back spasms are my great, like, I live in terror of back spasms. But yeah, so I figure if it doesn't feel any worse than it did after physical therapy, I'm doing okay. So I'm essentially trying to give a little bit of like a texture to each of these leaves. Maybe I've gone a little bit far with it, but that's okay. It's easy to glaze over the top of it. So I'm mostly going to concentrate on adding details to the outer edge like I did originally with this. I lost a little bit of this texture as I painted. And one thing I do want to do is add a little bit of a highlight on one side. I have to decide where's my light. I think I want to add a highlight on this side of the vein that I put in of the stem. So I want that stem to come out more. And that means I've got to bring up some of these other colors as well, because there's a line right next to that. There. I want that stem to come out. Yeah, exactly. Yep. I mean, sometimes I was lifting correctly in the paint department, and a lot of time I wasn't lifting from floor, I was lifting from a shelf. But I was still turning and pivoting way too much. So it's no wonder that my back got, like, screwed up, right? But it's weird. I feel like I still have some benefits from that time at Reaper in the paint department, because I feel like I actually have more upper body strength than lower, and it's so weird. I would not have expected that. Most people, it's different, especially nerds like us, right? But because of the paint department and 15 years spent lifting 30 to 50 pound paint buckets, apparently I still have some upper body. Yeah, no stretch break. Yep, exactly, Turgeon. Yeah, when I think about how broken I was when I first came out here, I'm gonna mix some of this green, actually this cat's eye, into my white mix, my off-white mix. Actually, I wanted a little more green. The upturned turtle. Yeah, no, that sounds good. I think that's a physical therapy. I think yoga does that, doesn't it, too, or Kerniko? But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of jobs that, I mean, fewer and fewer these days, right? But there are a lot of jobs that will give you a pretty good workout. Yeah, I couldn't make it through a show when I first was out here. Yep. Yeah, there was a time, right, when Kiri was still alive where my back was just really bad. And now, it's like night and day. I also couldn't actually sit cross-legged without, like, kind of painful stretch. Like, seriously couldn't. And now, no problem. All day. So, I definitely have made good fitness steps since I got out to California. No question there. I'm just going to get some of this. What we're doing is we're making our details at the edge a little sharper so everything stands out more. I also need to bring in a little more shadows. Oh, yeah, I do. Actually, I've switched to, do about half of my writing at my standing desk behind me. and the other half in a chair with a normal table. So I'm going to take my ancient oak and shade a little bit at the top of each of these leaves. And the ancient oak is definitely thinned down, so it's just going to give me a little bit of a shadow. That's what I really want. I'm going to give it more of a 3D look. A 15-pound cat wants to be on your knees, yep. When you're, yeah. Knee pain can be actually stemming from feet too. Yeah, in fact, it usually, I think, is my physical therapist, if I remember what they were telling me. And it's all tied together, right, Twistedoma? Like, if your feet are bad, or you have, stiffness or foot pain, then it goes to your ankles, it goes to your knees, and it goes to your hips, and it hits your lower back, and it just keeps going. It's like, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Like, everything is tied together. You can never treat any one thing in isolation. But sometimes, if you can correct your foot strike, you can lessen pain in other areas. It's interesting. But yeah, I just wish, I've said this before, but I wish that they would just let us get physical therapy when we wanted it, instead of having to, have some doctor or your GP say, this person needs physical therapy, or, I like PT, and I think everybody should have the option to do some sessions of PT. Yeah. Yeah, I don't actually, when I'm lying on the floor, I don't ever do a sit up. I always roll onto my side and go up onto that's what my therapist, the last thing she said is, I don't want you doing sit-ups. So I do modified moves at CrossFit. That's my one thing. My coach is actually cool. He has me go back and forth between a couple of different moves. So we're going to highlight a little bit to the left. We're going to be consistent at highlighting to the left on those stems. Yeah, I mean, if you're in good shape and you've got a job that's physically challenging, and how to lift things and how to move through your day the right way, SJ, then you're probably in pretty good shape. My thing was just that I never really was taught to lift safely until this point. I wish that I had known what I know about lifting now. I wish I would have known that when I started doing the paint department at Reaper. It probably would have, it had a huge impact on my back and on my fitness. I didn't see us freeze. Yeah, no, it's a habit. Exactly, Agent Marvel. Can you walk? Our job is done. Yeah, I can believe it because of how bad you were starting out there, Kuro, after everything. They'll keep fighting. Sometimes I think that doctors are pessimists because they don't want to raise our hopes, but then you hear stories about people who push it and get back a lot of what they lost. You seem to be doing much better. All right, so I'm going to continue. I don't want the leaves down here to be quite as light, so I'm going to limit my highlights to the very edges, and I'm going to start using a bit more yellow. So I need to grab maybe candlelight and get me a green that's a little bit more yellowy. It still has a fair amount of white in it. Oh, that's cute, Kurtiko. Your kitties are so helpful. They are our human is Borkin. We will help. We helps. You have assistance cats, service cats. Okay, that was a lot of yellow. Oof, oof, oof. This has gone way too yellow. Oh, noes. Well, that's okay. We're going to add some white to it, and just as Bryce was mentioning with the salmon, it'll desaturate it. So it went very chartreuse. I'm going to bleach it out a little bit and grab some more green to put into it. Is anyone here fully functional? Hey, I'm pretty functional now. It took a while. It sounds like SJ is fully functional. It has an active job too. But let's face it, if we're nerds, like so many mini painters are, lifelong kind of nerdy geeks, it's not like we're known for being the most physically active or fit people in the world, right? So it is what it is. And I think that's why a lot of us come to fitness like later in life, because we're just like, you know what? I gotta do something about this. That last 20%, yeah. Keep working on it, Kuriko. I believe in you. I believe in you. You can do it. You can do it. And then you have to come to ReaperCon. We'll take up a collection. If you get back that last, let's say you get back that last 15 of 20, like, we'll take up a collection and get you to ReaperCon. You walk into stuff a lot. So do we all. Don't worry. Don't worry, SJ. Yeah, this is a very muted yellowy green, but that's okay. Maybe it'll look nice. I'm going to try it. So I just want to take this chartreusey color and see if it's got enough white to give me that sharper edge I want. It doesn't really, so I think I'm going to add a tiny bit more white. It makes no sense. Clumsiness and coordination are different though, right? Although they are usually tied to, like, there definitely is a correlation between, like, muscle training and at least with older people, for sure, there's a correlation between strength training and coordination. But coordination is kind of its own devil as well, I feel. Like, I am still pretty, like, clumsy and uncoordinated at times, except for my fine motor, which is, like, off the charts, but this is my job. Yeah, right. Our fine motor is great, is insane. And then you go get water and you hit the door frame. Yes, exactly. Yep. Although sometimes I think that's just that we're so distracted. Like, I'm sitting there, I get up to get water, I'm absentmindedly walking toward the door, I bounce off the frame and go, WTF was that? Yeah, right. 3/4 of a mile out means 1.5. Oh, is it 110 something, Crowley? Yeah, like, they've had an insane number of over 100 or 105 degree days. I haven't checked my my weather, but I always have Denton on part of it. Oh my god, it's 99 there already, and it's going to be 108. Like, okay, this stuff has to break before we get to ReaperCon, guys. This has to break before ReaperCon. It doesn't look like it's breaking before ReaperCon. This is why I was telling David, you've got to get Kiki out for that walk at like 7 a.m. We have to get up and get Kiki on her walk 7 a.m. or she's not getting any walk for the day because it's just going to be too awful. And we haven't even brought the AC up this year, and it's been in the 80s. So it's got a decent level of humidity. It's not as miserable as Houston, SJ, but it's let me see what the humidity is. Humidity is making it feel hotter. It is 32% humidity in Denton. So it's 99 right now, but it feels like 101. And when it's 106 later in the day, or 108, it's going to feel like 112, or whatever, or 110. Yeah, it's just ugly. Yeah, like this is okay. So today's 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So so pretty much the day before I leave for ReaperCon, it should be 104. Oh please, can it drop to like 100? This is gonna be a bad one, folks. Yeah, I really like desert weather. Desert weather. I love Arizona, and I love Santa Fe, high desert. So yeah, I like the drier heat. Like I soak it up. I'm like a lizard. But yeah, the humidity in Denton just seems like it's gotten a little more so over the years. I would have to. I'd be interested in seeing a historical record because it might just be my imagination. But when I was living there, I don't remember it being so humid the first couple of years, and then later on, it seemed like we just got more summer humidity than we had. I'm getting a highlight in here. I'm going to try to highlight my stems all the way down. Kind of, you can see how that kind of brings them out a little bit. Yeah, SJ, I feel it. Right. Yeah, Texas. And North Texas is better. Like, Houston is normally the place you don't want to be, Richard. Now, there are other good things about Texas, but, and they, you've got to ask yourself if they wake up for the weather. I've lost my heat tolerance a bit, though, because I've been actually feeling it out here. We've been in the high 80s. And normally in Texas, when it was a 90-degree day, I would step outside after being in the paint department all morning, and I would be like, what a nice day. And I'd check my phone, and it was 90. But I definitely am feeling it more. Although it is a little more humid here. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it would depend on how close you are to the equator, maybe? SJ? What's the humidity here? Humidity in Mountain View. Oh, we've got 70% humidity today. No wonder it felt so miserable yesterday. Because it was just as bad yesterday. Yeah, that's crazy insane. I don't want it to be 70% humidity unless we're like maybe getting rain. Although it looks like Monday, Tuesday we actually have a chance of it, which is insane. They don't get summer rain here. High UV index. Hole in the ozone. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Like I could see there being a difference. Foggy micro. Yeah, actually, when we were at Yosemite, if you go to the foot of Lower Yosemite Falls, where we took Kiki, it was funny because it went from like 85 ish in the rest of the park, and then as you walked up to the waterfall, you could feel the temperature dropping, and by the time you were at the waterfall, it was like high 60, like a 20-degree difference, and like it was misty and foggy and overcast and blowing mist and all this stuff. Yeah. Although today I think we're not supposed to have quite as hot as yesterday. Let's see, did they lie to me? Did you lie to me? Nope, we're supposed to hit 83 today. That's tolerable. I like 83, 81, 82. Yeah, all these temperatures coming up look glorious, actually. It's when it hits 88, 89 here with that 60 to 70% humidity, then it feels a bit much. Oh my gosh, 96 for a high and they were calling it a cold front. Oh, somebody was trolling. Oh, that's just bad. It's just bad. Yeah. Yeah. Crazy weather. So I'm going to put a little bit of that highlight. You can keep the line really pale. So I'm going to continue highlighting my little leaf stems. I'm going to bring my Bring my ancient oak in to do more shading. Yeah, low level coast walk. Yep. Yeah, I'm jealous. I'm jealous, Agent Marvel. Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to fall. I don't normally look forward to cooler weather, but that's why I think I'm losing my heat tolerance. Although then, you know what? It's going to be cold. It's going to drop below 70. I'm going to be like, I'm freezing. Like, seriously. All right, so I'm going to shade underneath these leaves again. I just want a little bit of a heavier shadow. See how that gives it... See, compare this to this and how much more 3D it looks. So putting an actual shadow under things does help. Freezing temps, yeah. Yeah, because desert nights are not to, like, scoff at. Like, it gets cold. Yeah, my parents live in Arizona half the year, SJ, so I totally get it. It's still kind of nice because you get that difference, right? You get that heat, but then when it starts to cool off in the evening, it feels so good. So we can use our ancient oak thinned down to suggest, to break up the leaves into parts a little bit more, just a little bit, and get more texture in there. Oh, Melbourne. Yeah. Oh, it should have been heating up. Yeah. My statement stays. I like desert nights. I like it when it gets, because it does get cold down there. Like, normally when I visit my parents, I try to make it down in like February or March, because I think Arizona's just gorgeous during that time. And it'll be 70 during the day, and then it'll sink down to like 40 at night. But you've got that great transition period in the evening where it's so nice to walk. Melbourne is weird, huh? That's really funny. And Melbourne's on the ocean, right? Am I correct there? I don't remember. I'm sorry, my Australian geography is just for shit, really. I haven't ever gone there. I'd have a better grasp of it. My parents went to Australia without me. Yeah, okay, that makes sense kind of then, because ocean currents and all that. Yeah, because otherwise you're in the outback, right? And there's like nothing. Ah, Canberra. And that's north, am I right though? Is Canberra more north or more south? Yeah, because nobody, yeah, they didn't want to be attacked by, yeah. That's crazy. Middle west of Sydney, okay. West of Sydney. Interesting. Someday I'll visit Australia. The plane ride, like, makes me scared a little. It's a lot. A long flight. I wonder if you could just stop in Hawaii and then, you know, spend a week in Hawaii and then fly to Australia. Does that make it nicer? I mean, stopping in Hawaii makes everything nicer, technically, in my book, but... Yeah. Dubai or Singapore. Yeah, but I'm the west coast of the USA, so I kind of wonder, like, if coming from west would be better. Because it's a 12, like, Singapore is 12 hours away from me. So then Australia would be more. So you would think that then, coming from the west coast of the US, it might be better to do Hawaii and then hop. Western stopover is Fiji. Thanks, Aussie. I would like to go to Fiji. Fiji's also a nice stop. Like, I could just, you know, go And instead of actually just like getting connection flight, you just stay in Fiji for a few days, you relax on the beach, you adapt to the time zone shift. Hawaii is out of the way for Australia. Okay, it's good to know. Yeah, like I said, my brain map is leaves much to be desired. But Fiji is somewhere, I've seen lots of pictures of Fiji and it looks beautiful. So that's definitely sounds like a pretty good stopover possibility. So what we really want to do here, remember guys, this is the same with painting all small details, is what we're really doing is we're trying to highlight up the edges a bit, which is right next to this dark line that we've got defining each leaf. And when you do that, you make the leaf pop out a little bit and look a little more 3D, but you'll also sharpen up you can see it better, right? We just can't see these down here very well, except for that one, and I've lightened up the edge on that one. So that's what we're trying to do here. We are going to Hawaii in toward the end of October, right before Halloween, actually. We leave right before Halloween, 28th or something. Actually, my dog sitter is calling at 11 in about half an hour so that we can talk about specifics. I need to get him a house key, I think. Because we're going to be leaving, and then he probably won't be here until like an hour after we leave. So Keekster will have to be alone for a little bit. But our flight takes off at 9:40 a.m., so I don't expect him to be here at 7, so. Yeah, the leaves are all hand painted, Nikor. New Zealand is awesome as well. Yeah, I have a friend who actually was born and grew up in New Zealand. Very good friend. She lives in LA now, because she's an actress, but she always has had good things to say about New Zealand. Her family is still there. She's a college friend. She came to college in the States, and that's where we met. Thanks, Nikor. Yeah, I'm just like this has been many steps in the making, for sure. Where we spent a lot of time doing this back, and it really is just like how good you want it to look is how much time you spend on it. So, yeah, Agent Marvel got that. The edge is still a bit clunkier than I'd like, but you know what? It'll work. It'll work. It'll be fine. All right, so I need to get more yellows going on here because I'm fast transitioning from green to orange, and I want to get more yellow in there. So where is my candlelight yellow? So kind of an orangey yellow. You can use an orangey yellow to transition from green. It works just fine, especially when you add white to it. You see less of a difference. The orange kind of fades out a little bit. But yeah, I would like to get to Australia at some point. I don't know. We may have to wait until we're dogless to do some of the traveling we want to do. Unless our dog sitter is very tolerant. I'm hoping that he enjoys his time here, and that the Keekster enjoys having him, and we'll have a good client relationship going forward. All right, so I've got yellow and yellow. I've essentially mixed myself a buttery yellow, and there we go, these two. So the candlelight with a little bit of white in it, and then a little bit of candlelight into the white. It's not bad, actually, SJ. If you're doing diamonds, it's kind of like how I started these leaves, but you just do a grid. You do lines this way, and then you do lines that way, and that gives you, and then you just correct them until they look good, and then you just use that as your grid. It's actually not bad to do a diamond pattern on anything. It's one of the easier ones, because you just want to make, off-center tic-tac-toes. Tic-tac-toe grids. Thank you, Mini Mad Cat. Thank you for the raid. We're doing some freehand leaves on the back of this wood elf. It's a Reaper model. So we've been working on these for a while because they take time. So I've finally gotten to the point where I'm just highlighting and shading and starting to bring out the leaves a little bit more. I'm using a number 1 brush, I think, my Da Vinci. Yeah, it is tricky, but I mean, the key is kind of just to do one complete line kind of around the cylinder, and always keep in mind, like, as you start to do the line, try to keep it at the right angle, and when you overlap, when you come back around, you've got this distance between the two lines, measure it. And then go down and make another dot at that measurement, and then just essentially make dots down, and go around to the other side and make more dots, and measure that. And then always, just as you continue your circles, just try to hit those dots. So it's, if you do that, if you just remember, it's just like grids and connect the dots. And you can stop and you can measure out your dots to make sure that it's all uniform. So it's not hard. It's just time. It takes time. Thanks, Mini Mad Cat. Yeah, freehand is kind of my thing. I'm trying to think, do I have any other crazy freehand that we've done here? I was doing a lot of it, and then this last section of models that I've been finishing doesn't have a lot of freehand. We did the fish scale back, like the copper scales here on the back of his vest of my fishy. Those were freehand. And then anybody else? I don't know, not really lately. Oh yeah, this lady. She's got some freehand. I was doing so much of it. We did all the little alchemical symbols on her back. And she's a 28 millimeter. Both of these guys are 28 millimeters, so they're fairly small. But yeah, for a while there, it seemed like I was doing freehand on everything, so I just took a break. But yeah, freehand is kind of my thing. I have mad hand-eye coordination at the micro level. Developed over many years of miniature painting. Oh, cool. Thanks. Yeah. I honestly, I have painted Space Marines, and I always freehand. Because I've tried to do transfers, and I'm not very good at them, because I haven't done many of them. But for me, it's just as easy, and probably faster, to freehand the symbol. I can't get super tiny, like some of those transfers you can get just really micro details. It would be very hard to do, and that would take time. But if I just need a simple design on a shoulder pad, like relatively, like my Space Wolves all had hand-painted wolf heads on them. Because I'd been drawing dogs and wolves since I was like 7, and so I can do a wolf in profile so easily. Yeah, Imperial Fist logo, once you've got it down how to block it in, it's not hard to do. Right. You've got to break it down to the simple shapes, and then you'll have it. All right, let's get some yellow on this. I want to get a little bit more yellow on this sleeve, a little less green. Oh, I can hear the birds arguing over the bird feeder. I put new seed in it last night. There's all this loud cheeping, this loud, angry cheeping coming from the patio. I'm just going to leave a little bit of green up under here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's like if you are used to transfers, you can get really good at them. I mean, I know a lot of historical painter guys who do vehicles, and they swear by transfers, and they, you know, for them, they've done it so many times, they just execute and it works great. For me, I was never into vehicles and stuff that use transfers, so when I came to 40K, I already had a lot of a background of just freehand. I went to school for art, so for me, the freehand, once I got used to the small scale, you know, the freehand was easier to do than to mess around with the transfers. But I know people who really enjoy doing transfers and who take a lot of pride into doing them really well and like painting over the edges and making it look like so you can't spot the transfer. And that's definitely a skill set. All the respect to those people. Neither path is easy, essentially. It's just what you practice. Now I want to get more lighter color to the edges here. So we get that 3D effect. Color wheel out of NIDS? No, I didn't. That would be awesome. The Tyranid color wheel. Warning, may eat you. Oh, that's lovely. I'll have to go look that one up. All right, what do I want to do here? Oh, more shading. That's right. I was aiming for more shading. I aim to shade. Still, we got most of this to a point where it's... Oh yeah, the pre-molded ones. Like if you can get the Forge World shoulder pads for, I think I had mine for Alpha Legion at one point, and they're beautiful. Like there's some beautiful like precast, you know, detailed, sculpted shoulder pads. Those are definitely like I like those best of all because it's 3D, right? But given the choice between a decal and freehand, I'll always choose the freehand. Right, yeah. Yeah, it takes a certain amount of fine motor to do the freehand. But, I mean, a lot of people just have no background in doing, like, freehand work. And it's easier than you think it is. But if you haven't really ever tried it, it can be very intimidating. That's why I try to do it on here, like, fairly often, just because it's like, you know, I think that's way too, like, it isn't that thick, but it's coming off as really thick. I'm trying to put these shadows in here. It just seems like they're darker than I expected. But yeah, freehand is not, simple freehand especially, is not difficult. Like, you can learn to connect the dots. It does take fine motor, so if you have like problems with coordination on the fine motor level, then yeah, probably the decals are going to be easier. And now you can print your own decals, so it's like, can pretty much make anything you want into a decal these days. Tiny unicorn heads. Oh, cool, Crowley. Okay, yeah, I'll look. I didn't check my my Discord yesterday. I'll check it. Thanks. Because, you know, Tyranid color wheel just sounds like right up my alley. A little baby keychain color wheel. That's cute. But then you couldn't use the grayscale if it was a keychain. Would just be too little. So yeah, we're just tightening up edges. I'm gonna go a little late today, but I have to catch my dog sitter's call by 1:15, so probably go till 10 after. All right, bye Crowley. Yep, have fun, Mini Mad Cat. Thanks for the raid again. A little bit. Lost a little bit of my edge there. You can always go back and correct, though. try to get some more of the shading here. Bring my vein back on that leaf because I lost it. I'm going to do some shading in here. I think I need to actually mix it even thinner. The tiny unicorn heads, is that your national animal? I'm kind of sad my birds are going to stop coming while we're gone because I'm going to be gone for so long. I won't be able to refill the feeders. I'll just fill them as much as I can before I go. The plants should live as long as it's not too hot here. You're a national animal, you get painting. Fair, fair. We're getting those down there, and now we'll be glazing a little bit more orange and red over these guys. I'm doing their edges in that pale yellow, but pretty easy to glaze a red over that. Oh, I hear Clicky Paws. Clicky Paws says, hey, hey, it's almost time, Mom. And it's a little cooler out for our walk today. That'll be good. I've been doing a little bit of a shorter walk because it's been so hot. When it's like hitting close to 80 on our walk, I don't walk her the full distance. A little bit more light on the edges. We're coming along. This is quite the rainbow of leaves we've got going on here, guys. The national animal is a unicorn. That's great. Because Scotland decided that lions were too boring. Their national animal had to be something more interesting. I fully approve, though. More nations need to have mythical national animals. Yeah, Keekers, I'll be out there. We're almost done. I'll just get the edges of some of these little leaves over here. Again, so I can glaze over them in the future show. Looking pretty cool. Oh yeah, Reapercon. The giant Reapercon is coming Would not surprise me. Pinning the pause button until ReaperCon. I mean, it makes sense, guys. ReaperCon is a huge, huge project with so many moving parts. Oh, okay. So maybe John has found some brain cells in time to do reaperlive. Now, when the paint starts wanting to not come off your brush, remember you got to add water to it, guys. We have 4 minutes. 4 minutes to get little edges on the last of these brown leaves. And I'm using my pale yellow to do the brown leaves. Just adding enough texture down there. I actually looked up a particular, I think this is cherry leaves, Kuranico. Cherry leaves also have that full rainbow of color in the fall. They do have the red to yellow shift. And they're a scallop-shaped leaf with edges, serrated edges, which is what I was using. These got a bit broad toward the bottom. But no, I would never use maple because they're just too elaborate of a shape. So if I had a larger model, I could try to use maple, but you would want to just you would want to dunk your head in the pool after, it would be painful. It would be painful. It would be you would use maple leaves as a template for this sort of thing if you were going for a competition. Like if I was going to Monte San Savino or something and I wanted to essentially make my brain totally melt down but produce an amazing thing that everybody was like, oh my god, how did you do it? That's the kind of thing that I would use like acer leaves for. But when it's such an elaborate shape, the problem is at 28 millimeter, you're never going to be able to represent that shape unless you make the leaves really big. You won't make them recognizable. Because there's just too many things going too many different directions. The maple leaf is really iconic, but it needs those 3 lobes to really look like a maple leaf, and it would be very difficult to do that here. Yeah, I did not want Canadian elves, but I mean that's not why I chose cherry leaves. I was looking for a blade-shaped leaf, a broad blade-shaped leaf with edges with the serration. And cherry was right exactly what I wanted. That also went through a range of color in fall, so. And then I'll glaze a brown over this. I want just a little bit, this is a fold, so it's going to be shadow, but I'm still going to bring out a couple of details back here, just not as many. Just because there'll be reflected light, so it's just a little bit of stuff back there. No canned elves, only fresh. Fresh frozen. Ooh, I've got a new favorite smoothie, folks. I've been doing protein smoothies in the evening after my walk and after my CrossFit. And I've been making my own. And my latest favorite is called a Powerball. And it's like 5 pieces of frozen banana and a like 1/4 I guess. I guess. So 6/8 of a cup of, or 3/4 of a cup of, 6 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana. And then 1/4 of a cup of frozen banana No, not 3/4, because it's a 1/4 scoop and then it's an additional half of a 1/4 scoop, so 3/8. 3/8 of a cup of frozen blueberries. And I threw a couple chunks of pineapple in it too, but then you use a little bit more than a 1/4 teaspoon of unsweetened cocoa. So it has this, it's like a banana blueberry smoothie, but the finish is chocolate. It's so cool. It's really tasty. So like, if you like smoothies, and I love smoothies. Especially when it's so hot out. It's just a great, refreshing post-walk or workout treat. And I add protein powder to mine. And I use soy milk. You can make it with any milk. It's really tasty. Soy milk just gives me more protein, so I've switched to it. I also really like the flavor, weirdly. And I don't do dairy, so yeah, it's super, super tasty. And very, very low cal, relatively speaking. Gives you that kind of chocolatey hit at the end. It's only about 130 calories for a big smoothie. Not bad at all. Carrying sixers of beer, Dabber. Yeah, there's some weird beers out there. I used to like chocolate stouts, and when I could drink, I used to like that, and pumpkin stouts too, because of the cinnamon and other spices. Bean juice. I like my bean juice. It's so tasty, though. Like, I never thought I would like it. I was being forced to, when I was still drinking coffee, there was just places that didn't have coconut milk, so I would just get soy milk. And then, I don't know, I just got this taste for it. Like, I realized that I didn't need to put any sweetener in it because the soy milk is slightly sweet. I just love the flavor. But now I have to really watch my caffeine, and so I don't let myself have a latte very often. I've cut way, way back at them. Yeah, I don't know, Pendrake, but it's something blue instead. It's purple. It's a purple smoothie. Because with the blueberries, it totally goes purple. Yeah, I used to have coconut milk lattes all the time. Because I prefer the flavor, but now I really like the soy milk. But I can't really do coffee much anymore, SJ, so I've been forced to dial back on my latte habit. Well, I save a lot of money. Don't have to buy coffee beans, don't have to go to Starbucks. Yeah, I just regret alcohol when I have it these days, so I'm out of that. I use it to cook with still, because I can simmer off the alcohol. I use beer in my chili all day. Espresso robust. Yeah, I can't do it. My guts won't handle it anymore. I had friends who would do that. Like, I remember when I worked retail, my co-manager would just, before the shift, she would just go down, get 2 shots of espresso, bring them back, and she'd just slam them. Beer brats, yeah, beer chili and beer brats for sure. And then in my beef stews, I'm always using red wine. And I make a Mediterranean rice. I make cut with cauliflower rice, but there's a really mixing chicken broth, red wine, and some spices and herbs. You can make a really kick butt Mediterranean rice dish. Yeah, soy milk. I thought it was, some of these are like less, right? Because I thought coconut milk was, well, okay. There's a difference between like the coconut milk in America. There's a difference between the coconut milk that they sell in the store for coffee and the coconut milk that we use for Thai cooking. So coconut milk used for Thai cooking has a crap ton of calories because it's super high fat. But the stuff that they use for coffee here is really, it's like 80 calories for 8 ounces. So it's a very different product. I didn't understand that either when I first started. Oh yeah, beef and Guinness pie. Yeah, I use Guinness for my corned beef usually. That was a triple. Let's not do that. God, a triple espresso. I think my head would just explode. And then my guts would. All right, folks. I gotta quit because I'm gonna have a phone call soon. And I need to take it because it's my dog sitter. So hopefully I didn't miss it, but I don't think I did. So yes. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I love you all. I will be back tomorrow. We will have more fun. Yeah, you guys have a great afternoon. I'm going to try to finish editing my book. Yeah. Bye-bye.